Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. And today's replay is from... yeah, I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce the nickname. But, I mean, you can see it here on the screen, but I'm terribly sorry, I don't even know where to start with the pronunciation there. So yeah, it's a tier 10 battle, with everyone being tier 10. 3-point domination in northern waters. And there are two destroyers. The friendly Harugumo is trying to contest the sea cap. The Yu Yang is not trying to contest the A cap, possibly because he's afraid of the Des Moines. But there is plenty of friendly raider here, also around. So, not going to be the easiest for the destroyers. On either side. Now right now our Stalingrad has positioned here in the center. And actually, let me show you that radar circle there. Now, there we go. By the way, side note for people who don't know, you have like those... you have a button there, right? In-game, where you can open the minimap menu. And you can display very interesting information. For example, when we look at the radar circle now, our Stalingrad is positioned in a way that C is basically covered with radar and so is B. So very strong position there, with two caps being radarable. Now we do know that daring is in C, so a radar here would not be the worst choice, but maybe our Stalingrad is waiting for the daring to get a bit more cap progress and then get with a sneaky interrupt. We'll see. Now this island here seems to be also one of those very clingy islands, so our Stalingrad is fighting not just the enemy team but also this island here. Because, you know, islands are very tricky and dangerous in this game. And sometimes your best friends and sometimes your worst enemies. Now, the enemy Moskva is... well, that's 5 overpens. Probably not angled enough. But, you know, sometimes you just get those overpens. It looks like the daring is moving up and the daring is actually... yeah, exactly. Daring can be shotted from here. So here is the radar. And our Stalingrad hasn't switched to high explosive though, but hey, I mean, you know. A more piercing will be enough to get an interrupt in. Now the daring was on the edge of the radar range and escaped, but 5 overpens is still gonna hurt the daring. And the daring has left the cap. So mission accomplished, cap successfully denied to the enemy. Interestingly enough, there is an enemy Moskva that's now going straight into B, which is curious because at least the friendly Kurfürst is in a perfect position to shoot it. Now that Moskva might have realized its blunder, so it's trying to leave, and it went broadside in front of a Stalingrad. You know, Moskva is not a bad ship, but it's not the ship that you take in the open in the center of the map to take a cap. Really just no. Now speaking of strong ships, there is a Schlieffen approaching. The Schlieffen is only gonna be a true issue if it gets into secondary range. So our Stalingrad is wisely reversing there. The Schlieffen is, you know, about 100 meters outside of secondary range, and that's a perfectly okay spot for the Schlieffen to be. But once it closes the distance, those secondaries are gonna hurt. Unfortunately, there are a lot more friendlies than enemies around here. So the enemy team has a strong presence at the A, but the friendlies have a strong presence here at C, and the friendlies are sort of pushing in. Which means that Schlieffen is not... it's not gonna be very interested in even pushing here, right? It's gonna be... it's just gonna be running away. Now with the Schlieffen retreating, that means Stalingrad can move forward. There is a potential issue with the enemies from like the A side. You always have to be careful because ships at the zone walls might still take an interest in you. Especially if they aren't very busy here at the A side. Thankfully, like both the Republik and the Thunder are actually in the one line and not more centrally positioned. Like, I mean, they could be fighting for A in the 3 line, right? But they are in the 1 line. Now back to this Schlieffen. This Schlieffen is trying to run away, but it's getting wrecked there. So maybe the Schlieffen can be finished off here. That would be pretty nice. Okay, so there is an Ohio pretty close. Something to keep an eye for. Now our Stalingrad is wisely going to go behind this island. It not only helps against the Ohio, but even if the Thunder and the Republic now get bored over there and want to shoot the Stalingrad in the center, they currently can't. Oh. Ah, there we go. I was just thinking this Schlieffen would survive on like 100 hit points. Okay, so now we have 2 cruisers. And it looks like our Stalingrad is deciding who is showing more broadside. So, Sao currently. They are both on about the same amount of hit points. So it's not like there is one ship that's a lot easier to finish off right now. Going for whichever is possibly easier to penetrate is a good choice. And... oh yeah, there are some torpedoes. There is the lovely citadel. So meanwhile, it looks like somebody is inside B, and it's the tunnel. So here is the raider. We check out who is inside. Now our Stalingrad can't actually use this raider, but you won't always have to think about if you can shoot stuff, because there are a lot of teammates, and they most definitely can shoot the Halland. Will they shoot the Halland? I don't know. But I mean, our Stalingrad is division with at least the Slava that can get a cheeky salvo in there, hopefully. Anyway. The enemy cruisers are both... now, if he would focus his fire on one of those ships, might go down a lot sooner. But our Stalingrad is still trying to, I think, just get the citadels. And there we go. So, the Halland might actually be YOLO charging here. This could be an issue. There we go. So finally the citadels arrived, and ooh, that was close. The Ohio couldn't quite get its guns low enough to actually be a threat here. But Stalingrad almost drifted too far forward. Now there is only one hill remaining, but there is a hill remaining. It's not looking too bad for the friendlies. The enemy team has 2 caps, but ship-wise, the friendlies have a bit of an advantage. Although, you know, Stalingrad is low, Ohio is low, could be a lot of change in the amount of ships pretty soon. Now, the Ohio's guns are not looking this way. This means, despite the fact that Stalingrad is fully broadside, Odo's turret turns. And, well, Stalingrad got away with it. Almost too late. So obviously the Stalingrad was waiting for the Ohio to show more broadside to get a good salvo in and make sure that the Ohio gets finished off. But in the process, the Ohio's turret traverse is decent, so the Ohio got 1 salvo off. But hey, it all worked. Now here is a raider in order to catch the Talon. And there is the Smolensk getting deleted, that's lovely. Now, this is gonna be the only salvo that Stalingrad can shoot here. And, well, the team took care of the Halland, so that's nice. And suddenly only 3 enemy ships remaining. Now that was quick. You know, about 2 minutes ago, this looked like it was still a somewhat even battle. But, you know, the advantage is that while the enemies won A and the friendlies won C, the friendlies took a few less casualties, and the friendlies actually pushed B a lot sooner, right? So while the friendlies all came towards B and took care of a few enemy ships here, the enemy forces were just lagging way behind. Now they still have a full health Thunderer that's just useless because there is... well, there aren't any allies to back up the Thunder anymore. Anyway, so Stalingrad getting a bit low on health here. But you know, it's a Stalingrad. The better battle. And there is the balanced Russian captain triggering, which is obviously gonna help. So Thunderer went down, and... Oh no, wait, Republic went down, I mean. So did the Des Moines. The enemy team is reduced to a single Thunderer. And while it's doubtful that Stalingrad will actually survive this battle... This is... Oh, wait. It's a high caliber, but it was a pretty good salvo there. Okay, maybe Stalingrad will survive this battle. Will the Thunderer get off another salvo? I guess we'll find out. I mean, there is still 6 kill up for grabs. Now the Thunderer is angled, which means the salvo won't be the best, I guess. Honestly, I would have switched to high explosive here. So, there we go. So, this was a pretty amazing battle, and unfortunately I still don't know how to pronounce the nickname, so I'm terribly sorry about that. But 3,164 base experience, that was quite a lot. Also, a lot of achievements were earned. Yeah, I mean, they basically got a lot of the team achievements. And then obviously things like a high caliber Kraken, a Dreadnought. Still can't believe that Stalingrad survived this fight. But yeah, very well done. Enjoyable to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it too. And I'll see you next time.